Listen, I'm torn here. You guys know how I feel about talking about the Cowboys. But before I even get into how I feel, I can understand how Dak feels, right? As a player, when you step into an organization, you're coming with your own baggage, your own experiences, and your own expectations. But sometimes we forget the baggage, the expectations, and all the experiences that this organization has carried for years and years and years. So when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, the challenge is you guys been saying this for 15, 20 years. Like, when are you guys going to get it done? So it's like, oh, it's America's team, it's America's team. Well, we get it. We understand. But we want to see it happen. So Dak Prescott, he's supposed to feel this way. And they actually do have a really good team on paper. They just got to get it done. They got a few bigs back on the offensive line. They could be dangerous. Zeke looks like he's taking the offseason serious. He had a down year. Those wide receivers are lethal. They didn't take a year off. They didn't have their guy. And before Dak went down, they were averaging almost 500 yards in total offense. I think it was like 497. I mean, they were just destroying folks, but they had too many turnovers. And like you guys, we always say on this show, ball security is job security, yours and mine. So that was part of the reason why they were losing so many games early. But on the defensive side, Nick, you know that is the biggest challenge. They need to figure that out. Yeah. Now, they brought in Dan Quinn, great. They brought in Micah Parsons, first rounder from Penn State, linebacker, and get sideline to sideline, great. But you guys got to figure it out, because you got to go from, the worst defense in NFL history to at least okay and average if Dak wants to see his team become a contender. So there's a lot to this. I want to see them put it on the field. I want to take it from the paper and put it on the field. If they do that, they could potentially find themselves in a good spot towards the end of this season.
And it certainly helps that division is so down, not up and down, down. The Eagles, I don't think, are going to be good. The Giants, I don't think, are going to be good. And then there's Washington. Washington, I know you're very high on them, Brandon, who has a great defense and a good coach. And, Brandon, you're going to like this. If Washington can get good quarterback play out of Taylor Heineke, I think they got a great chance. Then I think they got a great chance. But so that just leaves the Cowboys. But Wild, so is there any? Here's the thing. I use a example from the culinary world, because Wilds, as people don't know it, he's a bit of a gastro, likes to go sample the different Michelin restaurants and
chefs. Indeed I am.
About 3 times a year, I see something on the menu that I want, and it says it has truffle butter on it. And I'm like, man, everyone loves this thing. There was even a great song about it. Everyone talks about the truffle this, truffle that. I'm like, I'm going to give it a try again. And every time I'm like, I actually hate this. Every time it lets me down. But guess what? In a couple months, I'm going to do it again. That's me with the Cowboys. 4 of the last 5 years, I've been like, you know what? I know that I just picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and they were horrifying. But look at the roster. Look at the division. And here's the thing about defense versus offense. Offense carries over year to year historically. If you got a top 5 offense one year and you bring the guys back, you're likely going to have at least a top 8 offense the next year. Defense goes up and down. Defense is like the GameStop stock. You don't know. Is it going to be way here or is it going to be down here? Who knows? And so there's a lot of change in that because of the randomness of turnovers, the way a couple bounces can change things for your overall defensive rating. So I'm like, oh, Cowboys' terrible defense last year. I'm tricking myself into thinking that's actually a good thing. They're like, well, it's definitely going to be better. And Dak's back. So guess what, Wilds? I do share his optimism. I think Cowboys going to win 11 games. I think Cowboys going to win the division. Am I going to regret this? Almost assuredly. But right now, I really do think I'm like, well, they got a great running back. They got all these wide receivers.
Didn't you just make that mistake the last 2 years?
Yes.
That's why he keeps
I did. I keep making it.
So, oh my brother, Oh my goodness, Washington football team. I'm telling you right now, they're the real deal. You talking about quarterback? Jenna's laughing at me. Their defense next level. Just had dinner with Chase Young. This dude is freaking biting, not only eating steak, but he's eating the plate. He's ready to go. And then you got Fitzmagic leading the way, a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's what they've been missing is the Hall of Fame quarterback play. Talking about
Wilds.
You know you've got to take when you say that Chase Young literally ate a plate, and it's not the most ridiculous thing you said in the last 30 seconds. All right, here's the challenge for the Cowboys.
That's great.
And I'll talk about all of our teams. So if I said, Nick, do we think the Chiefs' offense is going to be good next year? You say, yeah, guaranteed. And my Patriots, like, Kevin, do you think the Patriots' defense is going to be good? I'm like, guaranteed. And I'll say, Brandon, do you think the Jets are going to disappoint? And he's like, yeah, guaranteed. There's a bunch of guarantees on the board for our favorite teams. There is so much, I think so, about the Cowboys. I think that's a cause for concern. So, like, Nick, I'm going to ask you, like, 5 questions. Hey, are you sure that Dak Prescott is going to be 100% and look like he did last year before the injury? You're like, I think so. Like, hey, are you sure Zeke hasn't lost a step, even though he hasn't like had any like long runs like he did his first 2 years? Like, are you sure Dan Quinn is going to be like this defensive mastermind? Are you sure that the attitude problems that we heard coming out of the locker room when guys are saying like, hey, we can't try every play. There's so many question marks around the team. There's a certain point where, like, optimism has to be the bedrock foundation. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you can point to other teams in the league and show me the guarantee. What is the guarantee about the Cowboys? I really don't know. I'm going to ask, what is the guaranteed thing? Put it down in ink, guaranteed the Cowboys will what?
New year.
The guarantee, Brandon, I do think, and I think you'll agree with me on this, I think it's guaranteed the Cowboys will have the best offense in the NFC East. I think that is guaranteed.
That's fair.
Now, they also
maybe in the NFL.
Right. Well, I can't guarantee that, but I think they're going to have a very good offense, and I can guarantee they're going to have the best offense in their division. But they also might have the worst coach in their division. I'm not sure. So I'm already somewhat regretting it. But then I look at the offense, and I'm like, man, they can score a lot of points, and offense has never mattered more in this league. And so it just feels to me like they're the safest NFC East bet, Brandon.
Listen, Nick, you continue to set yourself up with this. There's a lot of people, that go back and forth with the Dallas Cowboys. But the reality is this is a team that can become a contender if they protect the ball. So when I said that they could potentially be the best offense in the NFL, it wasn't because Dak's coming back, got a big arm, they got all these wide receivers, they got a big offensive line. If they stay healthy, they could be a top 5 offensive line. I'm saying that because before Dak Prescott went down, they were leading the league in yards per game, total offense. The offense was phenomenal. So the only thing they got to do on the offensive side, which everybody do, is because of war of attrition, stay healthy, but they have to protect the ball. And then on the defensive side, man, that was terrible, like Sir Charles would say. Like, you can't give up 300, 400 yards in passing. Like, that's just ridiculous. You got guys saying, well, I don't give effort, on every single play. You just can't do that. So they just need to have a mindset shift and a mentality, a change in mentality on the defensive side. Just be decent. If they're just decent on defense, this team will be a contender. So I just want to see it happen, Jenna. That's what I want to see. I think everybody want to see America's team just make it happen finally.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.